Resident Evil Requiem just got some exciting news. The long-awaited announcement for pre-orders has recently dropped, and it is sooner than you may think. It's dropping this month. Now, this tells me that Capcom is on the final stretch before the game's launch. Now, this confirms that the development is still on track, but it also tells us that major reveals could be right around the corner. Now, along with that, we just got a big leak about Leon's involvement in Resident Evil Requiem. And from what's being said, Leon could play a much bigger role in the upcoming game than anyone expected. This could mean a direct tie-in to previous installments, possibly bridging the gap between older storylines. Guys, we have a lot to cover, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's dive in. So jumping straight into things, Capcom has officially revealed that the pre-orders for Resident Evil Requiem are starting on October 29th, 2025, which this right here is big news. It is a significant milestone for the game. According to the Resident Evil Twitter account, they said this: "The nightmare begins soon. Resident Evil Requiem pre-orders will start on October 29th US time. Plus, we will be releasing a video celebrating the Resident Evil franchise at the same time. And note, no Resident Evil Requiem gameplay will be shown. Keep an eye out." So I will say, like, just baseline, it is exciting news that we are getting pre-orders that go live this month. However, I was hoping that they would go live with like some sort of marketing push. Perhaps we're getting new gameplay, but like they said in their video, it's going to be a commemorative video. It's not going to be gameplay focused or anything like that. But regardless, this is good news because things are still on track. Like, we're not going to have to deal with any delays or anything like that. Like, once the pre-orders go live, they're not going to want to push this game back any further. So yeah, I would say as soon as the pre-orders go live, that February release date is pretty much set in stone. Resident Evil Requiem is close, and I can't wait to play it. Now, if you watched my last video, I did mention that I said that I think one of the reasons why pre-orders haven't gone live is because they didn't want to show the box art just yet. But now that we know that they go live this month, we're gonna see the official box art for the game. So if they were planning on putting a second protagonist on the box art, that news will have to drop relatively soon. This brings us to our next bit of news, and this is coming from Dusk Golem, who has essentially quadrupled down on the claim that Leon is indeed a protagonist in Resident Evil Requiem. Recently on Twitter, someone replied to them and said, "If I remember correctly, you said two things. The first was that Leon was in the first trailer, and we would play more with him than Grace, but it seems you went back on your word. I wanted to know about that." To which Dusk Golem responded, "Leon is in the first trailer in two small ways, but they're minor and be more obvious when looking back. While this is subjective, I believe that how the game is structured, that more of the game will be played as Leon by most players, from how I understand it." Now, after this happened, there was a bunch of people that were, posing questions to Dusk Golem and, outright saying that they don't believe what he's saying. Somebody said, "We've literally had 3 trailers, a full demo walkthrough since the reveal 4 months ago. You want to see the whole game or something? You guys keep expecting Leon to appear because Dusk said he's in it. Stop believing BS and you'll realize they've showed a lot." To which Dusk Golem responded, "Let me put this in full context for you. In Resident Evil Requiem, have you seen 1 second of combat, a gun being shot? We've seen like 3 seconds of zombies out of context. We've not seen 1 second of any gameplay in Raccoon City, despite that being the selling point. 80 to 90% of what they've shown are from the first 2 segments of the game, which in the director's own words from Tokyo Game Show is all really early in the game. Then outside of that, they've mostly shown out of context cutscene snippets. You have not, quote unquote, seen a lot of Resident Evil 9. Somebody then followed up with the question, is he going to be the main protagonist or is it shared gameplay? To which Dusk responded, Grace and Leon are both main protagonists of the game with different but connected things going on. Somebody then asked the question, I'm asking out of curiosity, you say Leon is in the game, but is it possible that Capcom might change their mind and remove him from the game? To which Dusk responded, at this point, no. Do you realize how many millions of dollars of work they'd be throwing away for no benefit to them at all? It's one thing when a game is in pre-alpha stage, so they might alter a section, but throwing out a main character at this stage is pretty much impossible. And when they change things, it's because they decided that the financial investment is worth the cost put in for a better product. It's not something that they make on a whim, which obviously makes sense. So yes, according to Dusk Golem, for the umpteenth quadrillion time, they are pretty firm in stating that Leon is in the game. Now, obviously, we have to take this with a grain of salt. Obviously, I'm just reporting on what has been said. Dusk Golem has been fairly accurate when it comes to Resident Evil Requiem. And honestly, I still believe that Leon is in the game, so whether you believe it or not, it's totally up to you. I'm just reporting things that I see. We got articles from Insider Gaming that have stated that Leon is a protagonist. We have multiple media outlets that have stated that they believe that Leon is in the game. There's Insider Gaming that covers the Dusk Golem leaks. If they had no validity to them, they probably wouldn't post them at all. So yeah, at the end of the day, take things with a grain of salt, but according to Dusk Golem, he is a protagonist and he will be a major part of this game. What you have to do, look at what he said. Have you seen a gun be shot in gameplay thus far? No, we haven't. We haven't seen any of the guns blazing combat yet. We've really only seen Grace in the horror aspect of this game. We haven't seen anything like the other Resident Evil games have provided in terms of the gameplay and combat. And like Dusk Golem said, we haven't actually seen any gameplay in Raccoon City either. Like, we haven't seen a second of gameplay of Grace walking the rubble or dilapidated buildings of Raccoon City. Now, when it comes to the claim that Leon is in the first trailer, I'm very curious to hear what his context is for that, because is it possible that Leon was in the first trailer and it was just very small teasers? Yes. I believe I saw a screenshot where it was Grace on the left side and then you saw the guy on the ground, and apparently that might have been in the eyes of Leon Kennedy, which that's very possible. But then there was the voice section of one of the trailers where some say it sounded like Leon, others say it sounds like Chris. But I am curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. What are the two small ways that Leon was in the trailer, in your opinion? That is, if you are of the belief that, he was in the trailer, which, again, only time will tell. So one thing that I do want to mention is, as we heard earlier, we haven't seen any gameplay of Raccoon City just yet. So the question that I think everyone wants to know is, when are we going to start to see more of the gameplay? Are we only going to get the small snippet of Resident Evil Requiem that they've shown so far? Is that all they're going to do for the marketing? Where or when do they plan on revealing more of the game, if they plan on doing it? With 4 months away until the release, Capcom's historical marketing cadence for Resident Evil titles typically feature around 4 to 5 trailers, including dedicated gameplay showcase, which that tells us that more content is coming. It's just a matter of time. Obviously, we got nothing from New York Comic Con. That was essentially the same demo that we've seen for a while now. We have pre-orders that go live at the end of the month, which it was confirmed, like I said, that there won't actually be any new gameplay shown off during the pre-order announcement, which is a little bit weird. You would think that they would give us something, but nope. And then we have the Game Awards 2025 that takes place in December. Now, this event was a pretty big staple for Capcom's major reveals, including the Resident Evil Village gameplay trailer in 2020. Capcom also worked with, Jeff Keighley and Summer Game Fest to show off Requiem for the first time during that event. So I think it does make sense for them to give us a comprehensive gameplay trailer with actual combat showcasing the gameplay sections of Raccoon City. It really feels like they're deliberately holding back nearly everything about this game. Now, will there be a time where they start to unveil more stuff like gameplay? I hope we get something at Game Awards, but again, they could probably just, continue to show off what they've shown and then let players experience everything else once it drops. Now, there is a possibility that we have to wait until next year, something like a January gameplay trailer or gameplay showcase. For Requiem, there's also a possibility that, PlayStation works with them on the marketing and we get a gameplay deep dive in January. Xbox also does a developer direct in, February as well. So maybe we get something during that. Like I said, I think my biggest frustration is we've only seen really small sections of the game. I would love to see more of it for the main reason of just seeing how they've evolved the combat, specifically the shooting gameplay for RE Requiem. Now, one thing that is definitive is now that we have the pre-order date, that February 27th release date is pretty much set in stone, which is really good news. Now, is it possible that there's something that happens in the next, couple weeks that requires a delay, like a game-breaking thing? Sure, I guess it's possible. But at this point, we are such at a late stage of the development process that they're in the polishing stage. And now the pre-orders go live this month. Again, I just don't think a delay is happening. Will we get new footage in the next couple of months? I really hope so. Do you guys think that Leon Kennedy is a protagonist in this game? Are you still never Leon, or are you of the opinion that it just really doesn't matter to you? Let me know down below. The next few months are going to be very special for Resident Evil Requiem, and I can't wait to cover it for you guys on this channel. So if you enjoyed my coverage, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe with your noties on, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.